Rain pounded against the windshield like a relentless drumbeat, turning the rural highway into a slick ribbon of uncertainty. Mark gripped the steering wheel tighter, his mind racing faster than the wipers could clear the storm. It was his first blind date in years, since Sarah's accident had left him a widower and single dad to little Emma. But tonight, fate had other plans. As lightning cracked the sky, he spotted a car on the shoulder, hood up, and a woman drenched and frustrated, wrestling with a flat tire. Little did Mark know, this act of kindness would unravel his guarded heart and lead to the love he'd sworn off forever. Mark pulled over without a second thought. He wasn't the type to drive by someone in need, life had taught him that much. Jumping out into the downpour, he shouted over the wind, "Need a hand?" The woman looked up, her dark hair plastered to her face, eyes wide with surprise. She was beautiful, even in the chaos, strong features softened by vulnerability. "Yeah, if you don't mind getting soaked," she replied, her voice steady despite the shiver in her shoulders. "I'm Mark," he said, grabbing the jack from her trunk. "Let's get this fixed before we both catch pneumonia." As he worked, they chatted through the rain. She introduced herself as Lisa, a cop in the nearby town, off-duty but always on alert. Mark shared snippets of his life, the construction job that kept him busy, the 6-year-old daughter who was his world. He didn't mention the loneliness that gnawed at him every night after tucking Emma in, or how this blind date felt like a desperate leap into the unknown. The tire changed in record time, thanks to Mark's handy skills honed from years of fixing things around the house. Lisa thanked him profusely, insisting on buying him coffee sometime. "Seriously, you saved me," she said, handing him her card. "Call me." Mark nodded, a small smile breaking through his usual stoic expression. He glanced at his watch, late for the date now, but what was one more disappointment? As he drove off, waving goodbye, he felt a strange warmth despite the chill. Little acts of kindness, he thought, were the threads that kept the world from unraveling. Arriving at the cozy Italian restaurant 20 minutes tardy, Mark scanned the room, heart pounding. His friend Tom had set this up, describing his date as tough but sweet, a real hero type. He spotted a woman at a corner table, sipping water, her back to him. As he approached, she turned, and his world tilted. It was Lisa, the stranded driver, now dry and composed in a simple black dress that hugged her figure. Her eyes widened in recognition. "Mark? You're my blind date?" He froze, then laughed, a genuine, belly-deep laugh that surprised even him. "I guess fixing your car was my audition." They both chuckled, the ice broken before they even sat down. Over pasta and wine, the conversation flowed like the rain outside had ceased. Lisa shared her story, a dedicated police officer for 8 years, divorced after a marriage that couldn't handle the badge's demands. She loved her job, the adrenaline of chases and the quiet satisfaction of helping people, but it left little room for romance. "People see the uniform and assume I'm unbreakable," she admitted softly. "But I'm human. I get scared, I get lonely." Mark opened up too, more than he'd planned. He talked about Sarah's car crash 3 years ago, how it shattered his life overnight. Emma was only 3 then, too young to understand why mommy didn't come home. "I threw myself into being dad," he said, his voice cracking. "Playdates, bedtime stories, everything. But at night, it's just me and the silence." Lisa reached across the table, her hand covering his. It was a simple gesture, but it ignited something in him, a spark of connection he'd thought extinguished. As the evening deepened, they discovered shared wounds. Lisa had lost her father young, a cop killed in the line of duty, which fueled her career choice but also her fears. "I push people away because I don't want to lose them," she confessed. Mark nodded, relating all too well. "I've built walls around Emma and me. This date? It's the first crack in them." By dessert, the restaurant felt like their private world, filled with laughter and lingering glances. But life, as Mark knew, wasn't a fairy tale. The next day, reality intruded. Emma had a meltdown at school, another kid teasing her about not having a mom. Mark picked her up early, holding her as she sobbed in his arms. "Why can't we have a normal family, Daddy?" she asked, her big eyes searching his. He didn't have answers, only hugs. That night, he texted Lisa, apologizing for the abrupt end to their date vibes. Her reply was swift, no apologies needed. "Want company? I make a mean hot chocolate." She showed up at his modest home with cocoa mix and marshmallows, her cop instinct sensing his turmoil. Emma took to her immediately, chattering about her dolls while Lisa listened with genuine interest. As the evening wore on, Mark watched them, a lump in his throat. But doubt crept in. Was he ready? Could he risk Emma's heart, or his own? Lisa noticed his quiet mood. "Penny for your thoughts," she asked after Emma went to bed. They sat on the porch, stars peeking through clouds. "I'm scared," Mark admitted. "What if this doesn't work? Emma's already lost so much." Lisa took his hand again. "I'm scared too. My job's dangerous, I see the worst in people. But Mark, what if it does work? What if we build something beautiful?" Her words hung in the air, challenging his fears. That night, they shared their first kiss under the moonlight, tentative yet full of promise. Challenges mounted as their relationship blossomed. Lisa's shifts were unpredictable, late nights chasing leads, early mornings at crime scenes. One evening, she canceled plans because of a domestic call that turned violent. Mark paced the living room, worry etching lines on his face. When she finally called, safe but shaken, he drove to her apartment. "I can't lose you," he whispered, holding her tight. She pulled back, eyes fierce. "You won't. But this is who I am. Can you handle that?" It was a turning point. Mark realized love wasn't about erasing risks, it was about facing them together. He started small, leaving notes in her lunchbox, surprising her with picnics after tough shifts. Emma, too, grew attached, calling Lisa Auntie Lise and drawing pictures of them as a family. But the biggest hurdle came during a stormy night, much like their first meeting. Lisa was on patrol when a call came in, a suspect fleeing on foot after a robbery. She pursued, adrenaline pumping, but slipped on wet pavement, twisting her ankle. Trapped in an alley, radio crackling, she felt real fear. Backup arrived just in time, but the incident shook her. Back home, bandaged and bruised, she broke down in Mark's arms. "What if I don't come home one day? Like my dad?" Mark held her, his own tears falling. "Then we'll face that too. But until then, we live. We love." Their bond strengthened through the trial. Mark introduced routines to ease the chaos, family dinners when possible, weekend outings where Emma could see Lisa as more than a cop, as a friend, a confidant. One day, at the park, Emma tugged Lisa's sleeve. "Will you be my new mommy?" The question hung heavy, but Lisa knelt down. "I'd love to be part of your family, sweetie. If your dad says yes." Mark, overhearing, felt his heart swell. That evening, he proposed on one knee in their living room, a simple ring symbolizing their complex journey. They married in a small ceremony, surrounded by friends and Emma as flower girl. Life wasn't perfect, Lisa's job still demanded sacrifices, Mark's parenting fears lingered, but they navigated it with open hearts. Emma thrived, her laughter filling the home. Mark found joy in the everyday, breakfasts together, movie nights, stolen moments. Years later, reflecting on that rainy night, Mark often said, "Kindness opens doors you never knew existed." Their story became a beacon for others, single parents, first responders, showing that love could heal even the deepest scars. It reminded everyone that vulnerability wasn't weakness, it was the foundation of strength. And there you have it, folks, an incredible tale of fate, courage, and second chances. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button to spread the inspiration, and subscribe for more emotional journeys that remind us why love always wins. What's your take? Share in the comments below.